Hey y'all, I'm on the road in Texas Hill Country. I'm just west of Austin, Texas. And if you've never been to the great state of Texas, the Lone Star State, this is probably the part of the country that you think about when you think about what you've seen in the movies. It's got the rolling hills, the red cliffs, the dried up riverbeds, the tumbleweed going down the middle of the road, that kind of Texas. And it's just awesome. Great ride here from Austin. And one of the things I came across was this. It's called the Hill Country Motorheads Motorcycle Museum, and I figured I'd take a stop and check it out. I'm riding a 2018 Road King, provided to me while I'm here in Texas from Biker Wolfpack Law, Gary Larson, my sponsors here in the great state of Texas. Anyway, let's roll inside and check it out.
I'm Pat Hanlon, owner of Hill Country Motorheads Motorcycle Museum in Burnet, Texas, just about 45 minutes northwest of Austin in the Hill Country. We started the museum in 2018, into our 9th year now, so it seems like it gets busier and busier and more popular. We're getting ready to have our event for this year, the Texas Motorcycle Revival, November 1st. It's a big vintage motorcycle show, so we're kind of in the prepping stages for that. Right now, and it gets bigger every year too. Have a couple hundred really cool bikes out here in the parking lot, and hundreds of spectators. So, but the museum is a private collection. I've been collecting and restoring vintage motorcycles since about the mid-90s, back when they were cheap and affordable, and just collected a lot of bikes. And then when my wife and I moved down here to this area from West Texas, from the oil fields, had too many bikes and needed something to do with them, so we decided to open a museum. So here we are. The collection is basically 1960s to 1980s, but we have newer and older, a lot of eclectic stuff. I don't have a taste of any one particular brand, any certain kind of bike at all. If I think it's unique and I think that people are gonna like it, then we either buy it or find one to restore and include it in the collection. Right now we have about 160 bikes in the museum. That's all we can fit. We have a lot more than that. We probably have close to 300. So what we do is during the course of the year, we'll swap out probably about 20 bikes in and out of the museum, kind of change the looks. So many people come here multiple times, once a year, like they're here in town for whatever, so they always drop in. So I always like it if somebody is a regular visitor, that they don't come in and go, oh geez, same thing as last time.
Yeah.
So we don't do that. We change our exhibits out fairly regularly too. So I've been around motorcycles almost my whole life. My father, when I was really young, he was in the Army in El Paso, and he had a Cushman scooter that he rode to base every day, and he'd give my brother and I rides around the neighborhood. And he and I both believe that that's what kind of set the hook in us, was back in those days. And there's a picture right up there of my dad and my brother and I, and him on his Cushman scooter right there. That's probably been around 1964. And the other picture to the right is my dad and I. He was pitting for me at motocross races.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
You're riding a Suzuki there?
Suzuki RM250. What we have here in the front is just a exact replica that I built of my original race bike, or dirt bike. Back in those days, they didn't really make production 100cc motocross bikes except for that Hodaka, the Hodaka Super Rat. So you had to kind of take a trail bike, Japanese trail bike, and convert it and make it into a racer. So Suzuki sold a hop-up kit for the little Suzuki 90. You buy a hop-up kit and then you modify your bike however you want it to. We did some heavy modifications on this one to make it so it was.
Must be special to have like that bike here.
No, it is. It's honestly, that's the most meaningful bike in the whole museum to me. This here is 69 Honda CL175, and this is the photo bike that everybody gets to sit on and take pictures of while they're here. It's all bolted down so it can't fall and worked out. This is the little photo booth that people usually use, especially if they have kids. These are so cool.
What is that?
This is a Honda CB50 racer. This is a replica of the original 50cc twins racers that they had back in the early 60s. So they built this to replicate that. This even has twin cams in a 50cc.
Oh wow.
It's crazy because it's 6-speed.
6-speed.
Transmission.
6-speed would be rare for that year no matter what.
It's push
But-
start, like the race bikes.
Oh,
No
cool.
Kickstarter with a top speed of about 80 miles an hour. This is kind of interesting too, is these maps. This is our world map right here of when people come in from overseas, and we haven't put a pin in here, but it seemed like Americans and people, especially from the Austin area, still put a pin in the international map too. But you can see over there, you can't even push a pin in
Texas.
Houston, Dallas, and
Yeah.
Austin.
We got we don't have Mobile, so I guess I gotta put a pin on that right there for you. Where do you have the pins?
Oh, right here.
Stick one in there for. I'm really actually just about right here. Halfway between Pensacola and Mobile. All right.
Nice.
We do have some Alabama people up there.
Yeah, we've had a few. I think we've got them from every state now. We were lacking Vermont for the longest time, and we had a little run of that.
So how do you go about making a bike that looks exactly like a 100-year-old motorcycle?
Well, these are built over here in Georgetown on the other side of Austin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's my brother's company, actually called Timeless Motor Company.
Very cool.
When he set out to build these, he got a hold of some old Harleys from different collectors, engines, stuff like this, and he just reverse engineered everything. He makes all his own molds. He's a master mold and die maker.
Oh, wow.
So all these are castings. Everything in that motor's casting. He builds all the chassis, all the frames himself. I mean, they didn't have modern machining processes back then at all. And they would actually, you know, like with a tube, like this would have been a casting. The head, it was real popular to have a casting for your head stock right here. And then what you do is you bend the frame and you solder this tube into the headstock, right? Well, you wouldn't dare do that these days because they said, like, if you rode it in real hot weather and stuff, sometimes the solder would melt and the frame would fall apart.
In Texas, I'm sure it happened all the time.
Yeah, so, you know, when he sells these, he has to assume that somebody's going to take them for a spin, right?
Yeah.
So he's got to make sure that they're going to stay together. But
That's really cool.
he sold a lot of these. They mainly go to museums and bars, man caves, stuff like that.
Yeah, if you can give me his information, I'd love to go shoot a video with him sometime too. It's just
Oh,
good to have
man.
him make them.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that would be a very interesting one.
All right, I found something near and dear to my heart. Not exactly the same bike that I rode when I was a little kid, first started out with, but pretty darn close. That right there is a Hidaka Super Rat. My very first bike was called the Hidaka Dirt Squirt. It was a 125. And today 125s are pretty small, but back then they were all made of steel and they were pretty darn big. And when I was 12 years old, riding my Hidaka Dirt Squirt through the woods and even in the streets of Everett, Washington, is how this whole thing got started with Biker Dad, really, if you trace it back to that. So the Hidaka right there that's pretty awesome.